This is Dan Dicks here reporting for Press for Truth. Donald Trump has just slapped his own MAGA base right in the face, now referring to the Jeffrey Epstein situation as the Jeffrey Epstein Hoax, saying it's just weaklings who are continuing to look into this BS. This is the latest from the president. He goes on talking about the discredited Steele dossier, you know, the Russia scam. He says this is all they're good at. This is all they have. And now their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson and probably never will, even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 long years now. He says this is all they're good at doing, is pushing this fake news and this Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Let these weaklings continue to forward and do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about their incredible, our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for attention to this matter. So this is what he had to say when he was asked about that. And just listen to this. This is insane.
I don't understand why they would be so interested. He's dead for a long time. He was never a big factor in terms of life. I don't understand what the interest or what the fascination is.
I don't understand what the interest or the fascination is. This is literally the man who's been pushing this thing in the lead up to his selection on and on and on again, warning that this is eventually going to come out, warning that big and powerful people are on this list and they're very scared of it all coming out. There's, of course, this podcast from like a year ago where he was asked about it, and listen to what he says.
Why do you think so many smart, powerful people allowed him to get so close?
He was a good salesman. He was,
a good salesman. Nice way to start the conversation, right?
He was a hale and hearty type of guy.
Hearty guy.
He had some nice assets that he'd throw around, like
some
islands.
Nice assets, like an island.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be, by the way. Probably.
So if you're able to, you'll be...
Yeah,
right
I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger, too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
I'd be inclined to do the Epstein thing, you know, to release the list. I would have no problem with that, he says. By the way, guys, Trump's claim that he's going to declassify all of the JFK-related assassination records if he's reelected, he said the same thing in 2016, but he ended up siding with the CIA and the FBI to keep the documents secret. They eventually put out like a limited hangout, which revealed absolutely nothing. So essentially he has kept this entire thing secret, just like he's doing now with his buddy Epstein.
I really don't. And the credible information's been given. Don't forget, we went through years of the Mueller witch hunt and all of the different things. The Steele dossier, which was all fake. All that information was fake. But I don't understand why the Jeffrey Epstein case would be of interest to anybody. It's pretty boring stuff.
Boring
it's sorted,
stuff.
But it's boring. And I don't understand why it keeps going. I think really only pretty bad people, including fake news, want to keep something like that going. But credible information, let them give it. Anything.
Did you hear that? Only bad people want to keep this going. Again, this is his entire base who knows what's up here. And I hope viewers of this channel know what's up too. I've been reiterating it over and over and over again. Like, for example, this New York magazine from 2002, where he's quoted as saying, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Remember, he's saying this in 2002. I've known him for 15 years. Terrific guy. he says. He's had a lot of fun. He's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. No doubt about it, Jeffrey enjoys his social life. Yeah, this man is absolutely compromised. He just admitted that, Epstein's into girls on the younger side, and he's into them as much as I am, and he's clearly being compromised by this honeypot blackmailing operation. I mean, we've all seen the footage here from way back in 1992 where he invited Jeffrey Epstein to his home in Mar-a-Lago, and here they are seeing, ogling a bunch of women. You could see him lean into them and say, hey, look at her. She's hot. Yeah, dancing, check her out. She's hot. And then he says something that makes Epstein just keel over in laughter. The guys have been buddies, for decades. And I think it's pretty clear why somebody like that would not want to reveal this list. I mean, he has had more pictures of himself with Jeffrey Epstein than virtually any other politician there is out there. The man has obviously been heavily compromised. That's why, last year, after I saw that podcast, I put this out before he was selected as the next president. I said, wake up, people. Donald Trump will not release the Epstein list if he is selected as president. I'll put a link to that in the description below, because we've known what's been going on. I mean, these are the flight logs from where he flew on the Lolita Express 7 times. So yeah, maybe he didn't make it all the way to the island, but he certainly is heavily compromised. Here you have his son chiming in saying, show us all the Epstein client list now. Why would anybody protect those scumbags? Well, that's a good question. He follows that up by saying, ask yourself this question daily, and the answer becomes apparent. My, oh my, how this tweet has aged. Listen to him now quadruple down when being asked about, what did you mean when you said these things, in this one. And here he totally doubles down on it. Just listen to this.
You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was
a
hoax?
hoax?
What evidence have you seen?
It's not the Attorney General, no. I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats.
He's suggesting this is some sort of psychological operation started by the Democrats. The man who's been talking about this for 8 years as he's continuing to use it, for his own purposes, but now totally flipping on MAGA and everybody else who wants to see justice for what's been going on.
It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net.
He just called his entire base stupid for falling into this trap of this Democratic psyop he refers to as the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Again, huge slap in the face to his MAGA base. Not to me. I've been warning that this is going to be the case all along.
Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Will you ask Attorney General
people
to release more documents to finally put this controversy to bed?
Whatever's credible, she can release. If a document is credible, if a document's there that is credible, she can release. I think it's good. But it's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone.
Yeah, conveniently, you can say that now. Isn't that interesting?
And all it is the Republicans, certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook. And no different than Russia, and all the other hoaxes. They're started by the Democrats, and some Republicans, in this case, I was surprised, but they got duped.
They got duped. All you people looking into this Epstein hoax stuff have just been totally duped. He just wants you to just forget about it now and move on. Meanwhile, Ghislaine Maxwell's family is claiming she was the government's scapegoat after Jeffrey Epstein was found lifeless in his prison cell. The Department of Justice asked the Supreme Court on Monday to reject Ghislaine's appeal to overrun her conviction. Known as Jeffrey's right-hand woman, Ghislaine was convicted in 2021 for trafficking teenage girls. To who? You might ask yourself, if this is all just a big old hoax and there's nothing to see here, who exactly was she trafficking, teenage girls to other than Jeffrey Epstein? She's currently serving 20 years in prison for that. And I got to reiterate, as I've said also many times, if you think this Mossad agent, Ghislaine Maxwell, is going to reveal anything coming out of the courts, you're going to be, once again, sadly mistaken. That's just not going to be happening, folks. I mean, why do you think Jeffrey Epstein hired private goons to harass FBI agents? He hired private investigators to follow, intimidate, and spy on the FBI agents who were investigating him, and this is in the mid to early 2000s. For decades, they've been preparing for exactly what they knew was coming. Meanwhile, you get metadata now showing that the critical minutes from the tape was released, has been edited. This footage that was released by the DOJ, supposedly kind of ending the debate that he was, murdered, when the footage doesn't even show his cell doors, by the way. It's way down in this little bottom corner. You see a little tiny sliver of a hallway that leads up to Epstein's cell, and they're supposed to say, this is definitive proof that the man was not murdered. Meanwhile, this so-called raw footage, surveillance video footage, has just been reported by Wired magazine to allegedly have it's been tampered with. The metadata analyzed by the publication found that it was edited using the professional editing tool known as Adobe Premiere Pro. And in fact, it's about 3 minutes of footage that is missing here. So nothing is conclusive in terms of what they've said as was released by this memo earlier this week. So, that's why earlier this week I told you this is a massive cover-up. Trump's DOJ and FBI say there's no client list, there was no murder, and there wasn't even any blackmailing going on, everybody. Nothing to see here. Just go on about your daily business. Well, sorry, Trump, but you can't just wish the Epstein story away. So today I want to show you this Politico article that suggests 3 scenarios that could explain the Epstein debacle, and I think they're partially right on some of this. So I wanted to cover that in today's video, guys. But really quickly, before we do, I'd like to tell you about this Give, Send, Go campaign that I have launched to help save and help protect Press for Truth. With your contributions, I'm going to be able to better protect myself with bodyguards while covering events, because in case you didn't know, I'm often, attacked by mobs like Antifa, BLM, feminists, climate activists, the LGBTQ community, or I'm attacked from institutions who shadow ban me, who block me, who cancel me, just because I go against the status quo and I'm interested in pressing for truth. So if you guys want to help me grow this into something that can truly be a thorn in the side of these powers that ought not be, guys, please consider making a contribution. I simply cannot do this work without you. Together we can continue to smash that pyramid of control one brick at a time, and we can continue to awaken new hearts and new minds who will help us build a better world for us all. So you can click up here on Give. You can also contribute Bitcoin if you're interested in that. Thank you so much to everybody so far who has contributed. We've got 22 people now. Maybe we could get that up to 25 today. Please check that top link in the description below. All right, guys, just a couple of days ago, I had to point out that he was tripling down, going from release the list to there is no list to the list is fake. Well, now he's leapfrogged all the way to the whole thing is just a complete hoax. He says the radical left Democrats have hit pay dirt again. Just like when the fake and fully discredited Steele dossier, the lying 51 intelligence agents, the laptop from hell, which Dem swore had come from Russia. No, it came from Hunter Biden's bathroom. And even Russia itself. And all these things are fake hoaxes. And it's wild that he would attribute Jeffrey Epstein to being even close to comparable to any of this stuff. He says it's all totally fake and made up story used in order to hide crooked Hillary Clinton's big loss in the 2016 presidential selection. These scams and hoaxes are all the Democrats are good at. It's all they have. And they are no good at governing, no good at policy, and no good at picking winning candidates. Also, unlike Republicans, they stick together like glue. Their new scam is what we will forever call the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. And my past supporters have bought into this BS hook, line, and sinker. They haven't learned their lesson, he says, and probably never will. Even after being conned by the lunatic left for 8 years. Who has been doing the conning for the last 8 years? We got to always ask ourselves that, because you guys know the answer. I've had more success in the past 6 months than perhaps any president in our country's history, and all these people want to talk about, with strong prodding by the fake news and the success-starved Dems, is the Jeffrey Epstein hoax. Again, boom, slap in the face. Let these weaklings, another slap, continue forward and to do the Democrats' work. Don't even think about our incredible and unprecedented success, because I don't want their support anymore. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Make America great again. I mean, again, I'm not shocked by any of this. I saw this coming. I tried to warn about it in this video way back here. Wake up. He's not going to release the Epstein list if he is selected. Again, this is before he was selected as president. And now here we are. So let me show you this Politico article that breaks down 3 different scenarios, and I think they get some of this pretty on point. The first possibility we could look at here is that the most senior officials in the Trump administration, including President Trump, Vice President Vance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, and the FBI Director Kash Patel, exploited a terrible child sex trafficking tragedy for their personal, political, and financial gain. That obviously has happened. I mean, we saw them over and over again, like in this podcast that I showed you, saying, yeah, you get me elected and I will look into this. Trust me, I know you want justice. I will help bring it to the table if you elect me. So this is absolutely true. Some of these officials, perhaps all of them, knew that there was no elaborate government conspiracy or cover-up surrounding Epstein's crimes, his death, but they intentionally misled millions of Americans for years to make money. And I don't believe that they knew that, there was nothing to this. But we'll get to that in the third scenario here. Get Trump to get him back into the White House or both. And now that they're in office, they're now just dealing with the mess that they made. The second scenario or possibility is that the Justice Department's review of the evidence in the Epstein case turned up references to Trump. You think that might be the case? Like, again, he's clearly been heavily compromised. The man who's already openly admitted to, liking the same things that Jeffrey Epstein likes, and who has been pictured with him and admitted to being his best buddy for like 15 years, obviously they do have stuff on him. So they have something on him akin to a client list or otherwise, and that the government is now engaged in a cover-up to protect the president. This cannot be ruled out given Trump's social history with Epstein prior to Epstein's arrest. Trump has previously been referenced in public documents released in court cases surrounding Epstein, though Trump has not been accused of any wrongdoing in the matter. Also potentially notable is Trump's hyper-defensive attempt to turn the page at a cabinet meeting last week, claiming that the public needed to ignore the conspiracy theories and move on. And, not just that, it's these, recent clips where he's calling people, weaklings. They're weaklings, and it's all just BS. And it's just a big hoax, and these people are simply stupid for falling for the hoax. Like, gee, when you're not involved, why would you, react so defensively and lash out by literally calling them names? That says a lot. A striking position for a man who's famous for his own conspiracy theories, claiming they should just move on. He's got his own, and he never moves on from these things. And yet still a third possibility is that the administration has been telling the truth from the start, that officials did believe that the conspiracy theories that they had fueled, and are only now discovering there is no Epstein client list and no evidence that Epstein blackmailed anyone. In this scenario, Trump and everyone else were all just surprised by these revelations, as many of Trump's supporters are, and now they're struggling with the fallout. Well, I honestly think it's a combination of the three possible scenarios, that they did use this to their advantage. He has actually been compromised, and now, not that they don't believe it, but they're trying to backtrack on this, struggling with the fallout. All these things are true because, again, it's undeniable fact that this man has indeed been compromised by these Mossad agents who have been running this honeypot blackmailing ring operation. Again, it's what I've been talking about for years, really. If you do a search on my website for the word Epstein, you're going to find pages and pages, dozens and dozens of videos where I've just gone on and on, talking about Mark Carney's ties, Mark Carney's ties to it. The Epstein list release was a nothing burger, exactly as I predicted. These MAGA fools should be absolutely ashamed. The batch of documents that was confiscated from the FBI is the real situation. It's what's on the tapes is what matters. Jane Doe 107 and the Epstein client list delay, in quotes. John Doe 36, a.k.a. Bill Clinton, and the truth about the Epstein client reveal. Berkshire Hathaway shareholders arrested for their speech connecting Jeffrey Epstein to Bill Gates. I go on and on about Epstein, Rothschild, Noam Chomsky, and his connections to Jeffrey Epstein. Bill Gates squirms at Epstein question. The truth about Epstein and Bill Gates' connection to their eugenics agenda. The fact that the earlier tapes just didn't delete themselves. Again, you can look all of this up, guys. Breaking, the Epstein updates, the prince, the presidents, the brother, and the meme. Again, it just goes on and on and on. Friends of Epstein may claim deep fake if video evidence of sexual activity emerges. Again, I strongly encourage you to check all this out. I'll put a link in the description below. Hear everything explained in under 2 minutes in that video. Again, I've been covering this for a very, very long time. And let's not forget, what they're trying to do right now is make this out to pit MAGA against each other, like as if it's a left versus right issue right now, when it has nothing to do with the left versus the right. This is the people versus the pedophiles. And the only thing we've ever wanted was justice for this. If there's thousands and thousands of tapes and videos and documents proving that young children were abused, they didn't just get abused by nobody, guys. So, we got to remember, forget about the left and the right. It all comes down to the people versus the pedophiles. That's why I'm not going to slow down on exposing this stuff, exposing guys like Donald Trump for their involvement and everybody else who's been involved in this all along the way. So just wanted to bring that to your attention, guys. Once again, if you do appreciate my efforts to do so, don't forget to check out this Give, Send, Go campaign. You can check that top link in the description below. Thank you so much to everybody who's given already. Some people give anonymously, some people don't. Either way, it's very, very greatly appreciated. Like I said, we've got 22 people who have contributed so far. Let's see if we can get that up to at least 25 today, guys. If so, that would be very greatly appreciated. And that's all for today. Just wanted to bring that to your attention. Please click that thumbs up button. Make sure you share this video as well. Subscribe wherever you happen to be watching this now, because I'm, not going to let up on my coverage on this. So stay tuned, friends. That's all for today. I want to thank you so much for watching. We'll have more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dicks reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. set you free.